this is the way to operate. The reason no mayor wants to fire that many workers. It's just no city can run when you can't get crazy people immunized. It's that the 1,500 or so people that got fired the other day. It's about 3,000 total now. That's not even 1/10 of the total people that work for the city. One of those jokers could get 100 people sick. And so not for COVID. COVID is, I hope COVID is over. It's for the precedents in the law for everything that goes forward. That some of this demonstrative stuff that you're wondering, like, why are they still doing this? It's because there's going to be something else. And when something else happens, mayors have to make sure police are vaccinated. People in hospitals are vaccinated. You never know when there's like a poisonous attack and people have to do something. Like, the city has to maintain its ability to have authority over who works for them. So that part is the complicated side of it. And what makes it worse for him is he can't have a young black basketball player at a time when black people are dying. Like, the only place people are still dying, like, you could get COVID, but the people who got COVID that are vaccinated, they all lived. The people who are dying are people who get COVID and are not vaccinated. And so because that's in the most at-risk communities, that's in the most packed hospital communities without having a hospital on every other block, he has to be very careful. And he basically said that yesterday. Eric basically alluded to exactly this. I can't do this because of how it would look.
I think that the Nets bailout has to come from Adam Silver greenlighting the Nets paying the fines. And Kyrie alluded to this in his post game the other day where he was asked about whether he felt guilty or not. He said something that I think got glossed over. He said, before the season, the NBA and the NBA PA assured me there was a workaround for this. And he essentially said that the rug was pulled out from underneath him.
Do you believe that?
I don't think Kyrie's a liar.
I don't think Kyrie's not a liar. Kyrie just doesn't understand things.
I think he was like, I'm not getting vaccinated. I think that there was a point where they were like, well, you could just pay the fines. And he was like, fine, whatever. I make, $100K a game. Take the $5,000, whatever. I don't give a fuck. But I think the NBA came down on Nets management and was like, that's a bad look for this league. We can't have that.
We can't. You can't. Do you understand? This is basically law. Like, you can't have a business that's just openly breaking the law.
Right.
And then I'm sorry, I don't put faith in anything Kyrie thinks. Look, I was saying the other day, I don't think people understood what I meant. And I'm going to see if you understand what I mean. Flat Earth is more logical than anti-vax. Okay? Flat Earth, I almost understand. Was 1,000 people in the history of man or recorded history of mankind have left the Earth? You trust 500 people's account on whether the Earth is round or not? Okay. I could almost get that. I could almost say, fine, 500 people could be wrong or lying or not telling us everything. But 35 million people in New York State have taken this thing, and over 16 million people have taken the vaccine, and you can't tell me that this stance that you've are you going to help those people who got fired yesterday?
No, he's not doing anything. And this is one of the most frustrating things about him.
A lot of the people who took those stances are people that was running up on Barclays Center and thinking that this dude had some cure or some kind of effect on people's mind being changes. This right here is just a direct result of our educational system being so fucked up. Because if you just taught why we take polio vaccines. Why we, like, if that was just a basic thing you taught in school and you made kids draw pictures of it, people wouldn't be falling for this dumbass shit. But because nothing's ever explained, people just do it. You didn't take the polio vaccine, Matt?
Yeah, of course I did.
Like, this is some shit we've been
took it
doing
when I
all
was
of our
growing up,
life.
Yeah, it's like you take it at birth, that kind of shit. Basically when you're a kid.
But here's what I'm saying. That can't cost you a championship.
Yeah.
You can't look back. If you're Kevin Durant, and it would be all his fault, if I'm being honest. I love KD. He's my favorite player. But he's a little bit of a
He's an enabler.
He's an enabler. That's the word.
I don't even see what's the commonality other than being great basketball players between
They're not
him and
even
Kyrie?
the same dude. They're
I don't
not
get
even
the
the same.
friendship.
I'm telling you, on Kyrie's side, he really looks up to Kevin. Like, he looks up to Kevin. He thinks Kevin's a cool dude. You can see it. You can see how he talks about it.
KD doesn't call him on his shit.
Right, because KD doesn't give. KD is a ruthless lover of basketball. He is a basketball fiend. That's what the fuck is going on. Like, if you watch for a basketball fiend, you're a basketball fiend, Matt. If you got to play with a dude that plays like Kyrie, you let a lot of you let a lot of judging things that you should probably look at that dude sideways. Like, he sniffs coke right before the games. What the fuck?
I'll tell you.
If he's gonna play like that, I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
The best player I ever played with was a bad teammate, and this was in college, and the program was down when I got there. This guy came in my sophomore year. Very, very talented, very good player. And the coaching staff was on his nuts, and me and him did not get along. Because I was like, dude, this guy was the best player, but I'm like, yo, like, other kids on the team are, like, afraid of this dude. Like, he's such an asshole.
Right.
I said this many times on this podcast, I'll say it again. I don't understand how, if I'm Kevin Durant, that relationship has not soured. Because I'm like, dude, you're really going to fucking do this?
I think Kevin gives him the benefit of the doubt. And I also think, here's the other part of it. And we all have a friend like this, right? We all have a friend that's a doofus but just means well. Kyrie really believes this bullshit.
But what does he believe? Because when and this is where our beat writers suck, and they're afraid to ruffle feathers. So they ask general questions about his stance, but nobody presses him on it.
Right.
I would make him get up and walk out. I would say, Kyrie, this is coming from your fans. The number one question I get every day on Twitter is, what exactly is your stance? You really haven't explained it well. Can you put in clear terms why you are refusing to take this vaccine? Because all he says is, man, I'm just a person just like you.
Yeah, I'm making my choices.
Like, what the fuck does that? Of course you're a person. Sick analysis. Why won't you take it? Are you afraid of what might happen to you in the future?
See, if I was Christian Wilfield, I play it just like this. I'd be like, yo, Kai, man, I appreciate the way you stand up for all the people who are, who want to make their own decisions and don't want to be controlled. And could you for all the people who want to do more, who want to understand this fight, could you explain to us, your humble and loyal followers, what exactly do we believe? Like, why? How do we say it to the world that's oppressing us? If Christian ever had the sack to do that, ask him that question, the response would be, yo, I'm gonna tweet that question. Yo, bam.
Nobody asks him what in your clearest terms are you afraid of.
But look, son, look at the simple thing that, I'm sorry to cut you off, but look at the simple thing that They ask him that turns into World War III. They go, Kyrie, you gonna take the vax? He be like, you asking me that question again?
I don't care.
Want to tell me again?
Every time I had
That was a simple ass question. Are you gonna take the vax?
If you had like I Solo would fucking like if I Solo was on our beat, he'd ask him. Nobody has the guts to ask. I would ask him every single time.
Solo would go back to his true believers and ask them.
Right. I would say, Kyrie, are you afraid of potential side effects? Because you know what? At least I can understand that, right? It's a new vaccine. Okay, I can stomach that.
But you can't lead the witness on this question.
Right.
But
I was like, what is it? Tell me exactly what it is, because it doesn't seem clear. Because he gives nonsensical answers.
Okay, bam. Here's how I would ask it. Kyrie, you say Malcolm X is a hero of yours, and you've done so many things that are very much like Malcolm X. Can you elaborate for us, like, your stance? Because, like, in a way that Malcolm X would, because Malcolm X was very, very clear in the missions and that he was taking on. So, if putting your Malcolm X hat on, can you describe for us why your vaccine stance is so important for you, your family, and the world? Come on, man, tell me that shit would be great.
Yeah, but he just wouldn't answer. He'd be like, there's a lot of people being affected by this, and I'm just trying to be me and do what's best for me and my family. Well, explain. What is it that you think you're doing that is best for your family?
He go, I made a choice. Everyone has a right to make a choice.
Of course they do.
I made one.
What led you to this choice?
It's my choice.
Right. This is what he does.
I did the choice. So don't you want a choice?
Two things could be true, right? Two things can be true. The current mandate that's in place against him playing has not aged well. It didn't make sense in the beginning, but I understood it then.
I like that Eric didn't run away from that, though. He was like, yeah, it is unfair.
Well, forgetting it's fairness from a basketball standpoint. It doesn't make sense that even if away players weren't allowed to play, that doesn't make sense either. These guys are not at risk of filling our hospitals up because these guys play basketball.
Right. It's not. It's also not. Blaming that would be blaming the fact that we don't have 2 away games out of New York. We're New York.
The data has changed. We've learned more, so this should change now too.
Right.
But that doesn't mean Kyrie's not an asshole. If you cheat on your girlfriend because she's a bitch, you should have broke up with her. You don't cheat on her too, right? There's multiple things being at play here.
Depends. We might have some gray area rules on that one. But it's Nets fans can't talk to each other. Like the whole fire Steve Nash thing is not because Steve Nash did anything wrong. Everyone who calls for Steve Nash to fire them, if you peel to be fired, if you peel a layer behind their Steve Nash be fired, there's a I love Kyrie right behind it. No one wants their favorite player to be the reason why a season goes down.
Hey, you know what I've noticed is weird is there's Kyrie stan Twitter accounts, there's Harden stan Twitter accounts. KD doesn't really have that.
That's true.
People I was following, I've unfollowed a lot of people the last 10 days. I'm like, yo, this dude was talking to me about the Nets. Now he's got a fucking Sixer shit in his
Right. Right. There's a few.
I'm like, yo, I hope you're 14, because if not, you're just a fucking weirdo.
Right. You're
following around this guy from team to team. That's fucking weird, bro.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And KD doesn't have that. But KD's such a no-nonsense dude, too. He doesn't play up to that. You know what I mean? He doesn't...
I guess.
I don't know. Everyone knows he's better than these two. But Kyrie has a weird cult. And so does... Dame Lillard is another one. He doesn't really have a weird cult.
I guess because he hasn't bounced around enough.
There's that.